And now here's Maui Film Festival founding director Barry Rivers to present Mr. Bryan Cranston with his award.
Bryan, come on up. Thank you. This is for you.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. These guys want to give you a shot here.
Thank you.
So let me say, the Maui Film Festival is honored, as am I, to present you with the 2016 Maui Film Festival Navigator Award in honor of your carving a path of distinction through the turbulent waters of the entertainment industry without sacrificing your fundamental commitment to excellence. And that ain't no joke. Congratulations and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Barry.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Enjoy. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey there, Rick.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm good, except I don't have a microphone.
Oh.
Great. Well, it's great to see you again. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And
Good to be here.
there are all these people here who...
I know. Hello, everybody. What a beautiful night and a full moon, huh?
I know. So I wasn't going to ask you dumb questions about the festival, but do you have any impression we call this prom night. This is almost the last night of the festival. Are you going to take anything away from it?
No, I'm just so glad to be here and thankful for this opportunity to talk to you and all of you. What this festival clearly shows is an appreciation for film as an art form as opposed to just a pastime. They fully embrace the filmmaker, not just in the feature film arena, but in the short films and the really important documentaries and smaller films that may not find an audience on a commercial level. But it doesn't mean they're no less important or valuable from an artistic point of view. And that's really says a lot about this. And I think Barry and Wendy and Ben and everybody who puts this festival on year after year deserve a really welcome hand of applause. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So what I'd like to do is work our way backwards through the clip reel, or actually start at the clip reel and work our way back to the juggernaut in your career, the thing that got the applause. But let's start with all the way with LBJ. And watching that, it was really like a transformation. You were LBJ. And you created the role on Broadway, and now you brought it to the screen. First of all, tell us about what it was about him that made you want to do it.
This is a man who, it was a very daunting task when I was asked to do it, and I took a little time to agree to do it because it was such a dynamic character. If you ascribed any adjective to his personality, it would have to be all of them. In fact, Bill Moyers, the famed journalist, said, 11 of the most interesting people I've ever met is Lyndon Johnson. He was a raconteur, and he was ice cold, and he was embracing, and he was funny, and he was aggressive. He had tremendous ability in his political acumen, and yet he had the lowest of lows of insecurities. Just a fascinating character. And 2 years ago, when we were doing the play on Broadway, we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Landmark legislation that changed the face of our country foundationally. And it was not lost in me that this man deserved a revisitation of his legacy. Not to engage in revisionist history. I think everyone, including Lyndon Johnson, would have said that his principles and his decision-making when it came to Vietnam was a failure. But when you look at his domestic policy and what he was able to accomplish, you'd have to go back to Roosevelt to find such achievement. It was Medicare and Medicaid and the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Head Start, Vista. It was an amazing legacy that he left, and I think it was worth revisiting.
And we made the transition from that to Seinfeld, and looking in Jerry's mouth, and Malcolm in the Middle didn't find its way in there. But what about jumping from drama to comedy? Can serious actors do comedy? I don't think all serious actors can do comedy.
I think it's more common for actors, male and female actors, who do comedy that can transition into doing drama. It's harder. It's harder to do comedy because there's a timing element involved that you need to have. I like both. I find enjoyment in both areas, and I like to go between the two, and also from stage to film and television, wherever good storytelling is. But I had 7 years on Malcolm in the Middle, and it was great fun. And yeah. and I clearly wasn't through wearing tighty-whitey underwear. I needed more. So then Breaking Bad allowed me an opportunity to do more.
Well, let's go there then. Why do you think that show registered the way it did at that moment in time?
Well, it was something that Vince Gilligan, the creator of the show, attempted when we had our first meeting about it. He said he wanted to take a character from Mr. Chips to Scarface, and he wanted to change the face of television. Up until that point, television had always been about stasis, about staying the same. So whether it was Archie Bunker or Thomas Magnum or Ross and Rachel or whomever, they were the same. Tony Soprano was Tony Soprano, and different stimuli would make him adjust to certain things. But he was talking about changing a character from when we first know him to when it ends. And I told him, I said, what you're saying has never been done on television. And he said, he was a Southern gentleman. He said, well, no, I think it's cool, and we'll just try it. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's like, but it was a grand attempt at something. And when we first started, nobody knew who we were or what we were trying to do. We just wanted to tell an honest story about a man who is an everyman, who was struggling as a son with special needs and loves his wife, but he's steeped in depression and missed opportunities in his life. And he was given this death sentence of 2 years to live. What would you do? So the parlor game, the game that some of us would play at a dinner party, would say, what would you do if you had 2 years to live? How would you live your life? It was not hypothetical to Walter White. He had to live that. And he chose a very unorthodox way of living the last 2 years of his life, but it was a hell of an experience for him, and I don't think he would have changed his mind.
That movie treads an interesting moral line. Society, he's changing and society's changing as well. You were also dealing with a similar theme in a very different time in Trumbo, for which you just got an Oscar nomination. Tell us about that time in our past.
It was, during the Red Scare of the 40s and 50s and into the 60s, it was a litmus test, if you were, about what is an American and what do you believe in. And our country was established on freedoms of being able to believe in whatever religion you choose, belong to whatever political party you choose, and not be persecuted for that. There was a time when there was some real threat from what was our ally in communist Russia, but in truth, for Dalton Trumbo, which I had come to know by way of his family and my research, is that he was a member of the American Communist Party because he felt it would give clout, political clout, to the working class person, the labor union worker. And whether or not that was going to come to be, he had the full freedom and right to be able to believe in that. Others thought differently. And what I thought was unique about this story is that this man and 9 others went to prison knowingly not committing a crime. Now, in our country, we have, in the past, our history has shown that we have sentenced innocent men to prison. But this was a case where we knew they did not commit a crime, and yet they were still sent to prison. And it was a critical time in our lives, and not in just Hollywood history, but in American history.
So should I ask about echoes right now, about times when people are being judged and possibly persecuted about labels that other people put on them?
What are you insinuating?
I don't know.
Are you talking about current political climate?
Well, possibly, yeah. Are there any parallels, do you think?
Well, I think any time that someone takes fear-mongering to a level of manipulation, then yeah, we should all be very concerned about that. I think what has to happen politically in our country is that we have to stop thinking of someone else, if their opinion differs from ours, that they become the enemy. In Johnson's day, in Lyndon Johnson's day, he frequently socialized with members of the opposing party constantly. He knew their families and their children's names. And then the next day, when they had to iron out a bill, he's not about to throw him under the bus because he just had dinner with him. He likes his wife and children. So let's try to find some common ground. Let's get something for you, something for me, and let's meet in the middle and make this work. Right now we have a condition where if you have a good idea that could help our society, help our country, but I'm on the other side of the fence politically, I can't even support you because then my party won't support me. So we have to get away from that villainization of it.
I think there are a lot of us who agree with that. I want to ask you one last question. I'm being waved off. I wish we could go on and on. And for an actor, is there any such thing as a good guy and a bad guy?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think I'm both. I think as an actor, you have to be willing to get in touch with the bad guy within you, and be able to let that person come to the surface. Any of the negative thoughts you've ever had, being completely open and allow yourself the freedom to be good and bad. And hopefully that's what happened with the roles you play. But I think audiences now are much more sophisticated. They don't accept the guy who wears the black hat and I'm bad, so I'm always bad. What's more intriguing is the bad guy who just killed someone, who goes home and picks up his baby daughter and loves and caresses. We are able to compartmentalize ourselves, and we are starting to see that more and more in our storytelling.
Well, as I said, I wish we could go on and on. This has been an education, and it's been like an audience with someone very special to us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.